For nearly 800 years, the world's greatest military conqueror has hidden in plain sight. Genghis Khan, the man who conquered more territory than any other person in history, deliberately concealed his burial place before his death in 1227. And here's the extraordinary part. Despite 8 centuries of legend, countless expeditions, and cutting-edge technology, no one has found it. His final resting place remains one of history's most enduring mysteries. This isn't an accident. This was strategy, the ultimate concealment of history's most powerful military mind. According to historical accounts, Genghis Khan left explicit instructions. His burial location was to be hidden, marked by nothing. No monument, no grave marker, nothing to lead anyone back to where he lay. The place most scholars believe holds his remains is a sacred mountain called Burkhan Khaldun, located in the Altai Mountains, roughly 160 kilometers northeast of Ulaanbaatar. There's a reason for this belief. Genghis Khan held this mountain sacred. As a young man fleeing his enemies, he took refuge on Burkhan Khaldun. He prayed there to Tengri, the sky god. And according to legend, he made a promise that one day he would return to this mountain in death. The mountain itself had been sacred long before Genghis Khan. It remains sacred today. In fact, it's so protected now, designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, that researchers cannot access it. The area is closed to archaeological work. But this restriction isn't about hiding secrets. It's about respect. Genghis Khan did not want to be found, and Mongolia is honoring that wish. Now, Burkhan Khaldun is the consensus view among scholars. Most experts believe he lies somewhere in that region. But the truth is, we have competing theories. Some historical accounts, particularly the writings of Marco Polo, describe an extraordinary funeral procession. According to this theory, Genghis Khan was carried hundreds of miles across valleys and mountains to the Altai Mountains as his final resting place. This wasn't a short burial journey. This was a deliberate expedition designed to confuse anyone trying to trace his path. Other theories point to a walled burial ground discovered in 2001 near a place called Bach-i-Rit in the foothills of the Altai Mountains, close to where Genghis Khan was born and where he declared himself universal ruler of the Mongols. This site contained at least 20 unopened tombs. Whether any belonged to Genghis Khan remains unconfirmed. Then there are the legends. According to folklore, slaves were killed at his funeral to keep the secret. Rivers were diverted. Horses were stampeded over his grave. These are compelling stories, but, and this is important, they don't appear in the earliest historical sources. They're cultural narratives that emerged over centuries. They reinforced an idea that finding Genghis Khan was impossible. In a way, these legends were designed to honor his wishes. So how do you find something designed not to be found? Modern archaeology has tried. In 1920, a French expedition passed through Mongolia collecting geographical data. In the 1990s, a Japanese Mongolian team focused on Genghis Khan's birthplace, but local opposition halted the work. The inhabitants didn't want the tomb disturbed. Then in 2001, something significant happened. An American Mongolian expedition led by Maury Kravitz, a retired trader from Chicago, discovered that walled burial ground near Bach-i-Rit. Kravitz had done his research carefully. He studied French Jesuit accounts from the 13th century. He found a Mongolian place name that matched an ancient reference. He found a site that made historical sense. By 2015, technology had evolved. Dr. Albert Yumin Lin created a crowdsourced satellite imagery project. Citizen scientists tagged potential burial sites from space. The project identified 55 possibilities across Mongolia. That same year, French archaeologist Pierre-Henri Giscard conducted drone expeditions around Burkhan Khaldun. His team found evidence of a massive human-made mound, 250 meters long, built in the style of ancient Chinese imperial tombs. This was the strongest contemporary evidence supporting the Burkhan Khaldun theory. But here's what's crucial: Genghis Khan's findings were never formally published. Why? Because the expeditions lacked authorization. Access to Burkhan Khaldun is restricted, and that brings us to a fundamental paradox about this mystery. Genghis Khan is Mongolia's greatest national hero. The West remembers him as a conqueror, but Mongolians remember what he created: the Silk Road, a postal system, religious freedom, the use of paper money. He was a visionary. So when it comes to his tomb, Mongolia's position isn't irrational fear, it's principled respect. Genghis Khan explicitly requested that his burial location be hidden. The Darkhad tribe, exempted from taxes and military service for this sacred duty, have guarded this secret for nearly 800 years. For 800 years, that's not superstition, that's stewardship. Mongolians ask a simple question: if he wanted to be found, he would have said so. If he went to extraordinary lengths to conceal his burial place, perhaps the greatest respect we can show is to honor that wish. There's a historical parallel many Mongolians reference. In 1941, Soviet archaeologists opened the tomb of Tamerlane, a 14th century Central Asian ruler. The very day the tomb was disturbed, Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union, launching World War II's most devastating front. Now, this is historically coincidental, but the cultural memory is powerful. It reinforces a belief: some tombs should remain closed. Here's the paradox: as our technology becomes more sophisticated, drones, satellite imagery, crowdsourced archaeology, access to the most likely burial sites becomes more restricted. Not from conspiracy, from cultural protection. Mongolia is vast, more than 1.5 million square kilometers. Only 2% of roads are paved. The population density is lower than Greenland's. Searching the steppe systematically is nearly impossible, and the most probable location, Burkhan Khaldun, is now protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and off-limits to researchers. So we face an ironic situation. We have the technology to find him. We may even know where he is. But accessing that knowledge would require violating something Mongolia has protected for 8 centuries. It raises a question worth sitting with. If we found Genghis Khan's tomb, should we excavate it? The answer isn't obvious, and perhaps that's the point. Perhaps the greatest achievement of Genghis Khan was not the empire he built in life, but the mystery he left behind in death. He succeeded at something no other historical figure has: staying hidden for 800 years. And in doing so, he achieved a kind of immortality, not through discovery, but through evasion. Maybe the mystery is the point. Maybe Genghis Khan's final triumph was to create an unsolvable puzzle that has humbled archaeologists, technologists, and scholars for centuries to come. So what do you think? Should Genghis Khan's tomb ever be found? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe for more unsolved mysteries that continue to baffle historians and scientists today.